Today, we're going to have a conversation with Gary Prenevost.
Top performers move from proficiency to mastery, which might take a couple of other years, a couple more years to get there. But once they master something, now they're ready to go to their next level of growth. And part of that journey is hiring people and teaching people, bringing them up to speed so that they're no longer having to worry about it. The hardest thing for people to let go of is that which we like doing the most.
Gary's an award-winning author, ex-franchisor, ex-franchisee, business coach, and consultant.
And sometimes that's exactly what's holding people back from growing.
So let's get to it. Gary, qualifications, quality, skills necessary to be successful in franchising. Do you have a top 2 or 3 favorites?
I think putting it to 2 or 3 is limiting. Let's look at 2 different components. There are traits, which are personality elements, and then there are transferable skills. I always look at things, and I've worked with over 2,000 people to help them figure out what the right business is. And I've studied top performers, like the top 1% to 4% franchisees. What do they do that the rest don't do? I've been one of them myself. Let's deal with traits first. I think there are several critical traits that a successful franchisee has. The first one is the ability to focus. And that comes over time as they're going from being good at what they used to do, starting a franchise, they're learning how to get good again. So they're starting over. So people shouldn't be so hard on themselves when they can't focus yet because they're drinking everything all at once. But they should be able to have that ability to focus on the critical task, and that includes prioritizing, listening, communication skills. We are in the people business. The nature of business coaching, that is all about listening first, understanding what the customer needs, wants, what their pain points are, but listening in such a way that you can match the solutions that you bring to their need. I ran a training company, so I did this for 10 years. And it's not just at the sales element to get the customer, it's when you're facilitating change using the toolboxes that the coach has. So they've got to be able to listen and communicate in a way that inspires action. The third is tenacity, and closely beside that is resilience. Tenacity to me is no matter what is coming, I'm going to stay focused on my goals, tied to focus, but it's also that I'm not going to give up. I just like the underdog mentality. I'm going to go for the underdog. They're going to eventually win, and it's staying tenacious, going after the focus on your goals. Resilience tied to tenacity, we got to put up with a lot of stuff, and it's not all fun. There's a lot of challenges running a business. There are a lot of challenges around staffing, around marketing, around working with customers, around our own personal emotional swings. So being able to have that resilience to manage through it all. And then I think the other one, which is one of my biggest, is lifelong learning. If you're going to be a business owner, you're a successful business owner, you're going to commit to lifelong learning. And that shows up in the studying and just being professional and learning and sharpening the saw on the skills that you need for your business. But it's also, William, in coming back to the patience and tenacity elements, when we have wins, we want to celebrate those wins, but we want to learn the lessons. How did I get that? And how do I get more of it? When we get bopped in the nose and we have failures and mistakes, ouch, that hurt. I don't want any more of those. How do I avoid it? And it's being open to the lessons, but you've got to be able to pause and reflect and say, how do we get that? And that was up to me. What were the other circumstances? So to me, those are the critical traits.
Tell me a little bit. You mentioned that you had actually walked the walk and actually built your own franchise concept with your family. And tell me a little bit about that, how that worked.
So there's a couple of elements of family business before I really got into franchising. I was a banker, left banking to become an entrepreneur. I was that contortionist in the invisible box in corporate, so it wasn't my scene at all. So we started live at artificial tropical plants in Toronto and became, over the course of 4.5 years, one of the largest interior scapers. But with all the family members, there was a lot of, let's just say, wrestling over decisions and roles. And it wasn't what I thought it would be. And so I made a decision to leave after being recruited by a training company, sales management leadership training company. So I helped them start selling their licenses. So similar to a franchise. Bought one of my own a few months later, and then did that for 10 years and built it up to 110 licensees across Canada. We were Canada's 5th largest training company. And along the way, I was one of their top franchisees or licensees. So yeah, I lived the day. I focused on leadership training, sales training. I've trained over 1,000 salespeople during that time.
Do you feel franchising is still as popular today as when we got started 20 years ago, 25 years ago?
I think it's more popular now. I think it's better structured, it's better understood, it's better communicated. One of the big shifts in franchising over the last few years is private equity coming in and buying franchisors and franchise systems and creating platforms where they have multiple brands. And these are not the buy, build, and sell at a fast pace. They want to cut their operating expenses and sell on that multiple. No, they want to build entire ecosystems and cross-pollinate across franchise. And their long-term holds. There's way more money coming in marketing, so attracting more people, attracting more of the right people to franchising. I believe the franchise industry has matured. There's a whole movement around responsible franchising. It's not selling franchises, it's awarding franchises to the right people.
You walk through a franchise expo, be it in New York City or Toronto, and there's a lot of concepts out there that you kind of shake your head and you say, wait a minute, you haven't even tried and proven the system, and you're already offering franchises. I mean, how are you going to support these franchisees? They have been said there was a time where hedge funds were purchasing out franchises to gut them and then sell them, and that didn't work so well either.
There's a great book by Alicia Miller called Big Money in Franchising. It's all about, came out earlier this year. I was one of her pre-readers and helped her find her editor, and publisher. She really lays clear the impact of private equity in a very positive way. It is something to be embraced and understood.
There's any kind of additional knowledge that you would like to share with us?
First of all, if we come back to my book, USA Today rated as one of the top 10 business books for 2024 to grow your business. So for your listeners, I talked about number one being mindset, the first driver. The second driver is awareness. And being a former trainer, I created the book, William, to be it an evergreen product where it's full of exercises that people can take and do them and apply that content to their own situations and make changes. So the second driver being awareness is all about assessing where am I at? And what do great business owners do? They're constantly looking at what is the data telling me? What is the information? Where am I at? Where I need to do? And what do I need to do to get to the next growth level? So I'm not going to go into all the drivers right now, but those are the important elements is having the mindset, taking that constant awareness check, and then focusing operationally on whichever operational opportunities and challenges you have. One other point, and this is where I think most people go sideways, is only pick one or two things to focus on in terms of learning and growing and optimizing. Once you've optimized it, when you get to proficiency, you're good at something. If you're competent, you're okay at something. You get to proficiency, you're good at something. Top performers move from proficiency to mastery, which might take a couple of other years, a couple more years to get there. But once they master something, now they're ready to go to their next level of growth. And part of that journey is hiring people and teaching people, bringing them up to speed so that they're no longer having to worry about it. The hardest thing for people to let go of is that which we like doing the most. And sometimes that's exactly what's holding people back from growing.
I hope you have gained some valuable insights into the world of franchising. Please make sure to like and subscribe and share with your network. Also, click the link below to learn more about franchising with Actioncoach.